Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to completely disassemble this 15-inch MacBook Pro mid-2015 model A1398. Okay, it had liquid spilled on it. The battery is like expanding as well, so the keyboard was having problems, or it's all like sticky. So we're basically going to replace the keyboard Palmrest assembly with another battery. This is a used pulled part. I don't know if there's any way to get a brand new one because these models are so old. But yeah, anyways, we're going to be removing all the screws from the bottom using a P5 or Pentalobe 1.2. All right, you want to keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and length. So I put the flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern. I remove them, so we have this rectangular shape. Because the battery's inflating, I'm going to hold the cover down while I undo the screws. Okay, the two back here are shorter than the other ones, but again, the screws are different size, shape, and length, so I highly recommend keeping them all in order by putting them in the pattern that you remove them. Okay, so basically, if you remove the screw from here, put it back there. Even though this screw is probably exactly the same, it's always a good idea to put back the same screw where you got it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and remove these. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, let's go ahead and continue removing them. As you can see, the bottom cover is now like going even higher and higher as I continue removing the screws because the battery is pushing onto the back. Okay. So we're just going to get all these out. Alright, there we go. And normally you would go back here and pop the cover off, but as you can see, the inflated battery... Oh, I'm going to have to clean that. That's really bad. Okay, yeah, that looks really bad. I might have to actually continue this in the morning because... Yeah, I'm going to have to like blow this out outside. Maybe I'll pick out some of the stuff using some tweezers. For now, let's disconnect the battery. So, zoom in here. Okay, so the battery connector is right here. We're going to pull this up like this, okay? And this is how you pop up the connector. There's a plastic part that extends out, and there we go. All right, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just pull out a bunch of this dust stuff, and then we'll go from there. We'll continue tomorrow, I guess. So for now, I'll have it like this. Let's go ahead and just pick this stuff out here. Okay, wow, that's really bad. It might be worse because I think the liquid might have gotten in it, but wow, okay. For how bad this is and all this cleanup, I might have to actually charge more, but I don't know. Let's see. I was not expecting it to be this bad inside. It's like, wow, it's like really bad. Okay, I'll show you guys like how much stuff I pull out of it afterwards. Jeez, how do I even get all this out? It's like stuck in there. Okay. And then some of this stuff I can't even just pull it out because, yeah, it's too risky. It's on the components there, so I'm gonna have to like take the whole fan out, things like that. Okay, I mean I have to completely disassemble it anyways, but yeah. Oh, one other thing, after disconnecting the battery, what you want to do is you want to actually open up the MacBook or the computer and press and hold the power button for 15 seconds. So I'm doing that right now. This makes it a lot less risky because there's still electricity flowing through capacitors and things like that. So yeah, by holding the power button, you make it a lot safer to work on. This is very important, especially if you're going to be disconnecting the LCD Lvds connector or the screen cable, which is right there. Okay, anyways, I'm just going to be picking out this stuff. And there's like so much. This is... sure how all this dust, or what this dust is, because it's like discolored. Alright. I don't know if this is also partially from the spill soaking into it or something. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do like a really deep cleaning on this thing. Usually I don't see dust on the back of the fan, so this is really weird. Usually it's only on the other side. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to clean this all up like with a toothbrush and then just scrub it all away. Wow, that stuff is actually stuck in there pretty good. Okay. I'm gonna have to take out the fans and clean them real well. This stuff is like stuck in there. Wow. Definitely can't just blow this thing out. I'd have to definitely take it apart and pull stuff out physically. Alright, well, I'll clean this up tomorrow, but you can see all this stuff I pulled out of it. Alright, that's pretty bad. Anyways, we'll continue this tomorrow. Basically, I'm going to use a toothbrush, scrub off, loosen all this dust, and then blow out as much as I can. And then I'll come back, take out the fans and everything, completely take this apart, the screen out, motherboard out, fans, all these other cables, SSD, everything, speakers, and we're going to transfer it over to the other replacement case. But for now, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I mean, it's going for you, it's going to be a few seconds. But anyways, yep, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Alright, so I'm back. I cleaned it up the best I could. The cover, I basically used some warm water, cleaned it off, dried it up. Here you can see it looks very good now. Alright, the bottom had some stuff stuck to it. I don't know what. It's like pancake batter or something. But there you go. That's all clean. This I kind of tried to clean the best I could. This stuff is kind of stuck there. It doesn't really come out. So just left that. Alright. And the rest I'm probably going to have to take it apart to get to more of the dust. Anyways, let's go ahead and start removing this stuff. So we're first going to, well, we already disconnected the battery and pressed and held the power button. So next we're going to remove the screen here. So under here, there's like an adhesive going along. Let me zoom in here. Okay, there's an adhesive going along two of the screws. What we want to do is get between those screws. I use this screwdriver and I just lift underneath. So here you go. That way the adhesive piece stays stuck under there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side. All right, I believe it was these two. We're going to go ahead and again lift up the adhesive from there, and there we go. There we go. All right, we'll set that aside. Let's go ahead and disconnect the LCD LVDS connector. I just get under this metal flap with my fingernail. You can pull up this plastic tab if you want. All right, whatever works for you. Then we're going to go ahead and grab this, and I go as close to the bottom of the latch as possible and use that to help pull it back. And there we go. Okay, so we got the screen connector disconnected. All right, we're going to disconnect the wireless antennas over here. So I just go underneath the tails and pull up as close to the tails as possible. Okay, just like that for all three. We are going to just leave the wireless antenna or wireless card attached to here because we don't need to remove that. Okay, we're going to flip this up. There's adhesive holding it in place. Flip that over. Okay, next we're going to have to unroute this cable here. So we're going to go ahead and pull this up out of here, just like that. Then there's all this adhesive underneath, so you want to be careful peeling this up. Okay, route this over. We're going to go over to here. Work your way up. You want to stay as close as possible and also pull it that way to try and keep the cable flat. I'm holding down here so it doesn't just all of a sudden yank this thing out. Okay, then we have the LCD, or sorry, this is the iSight camera webcam cable. It helps to use like a plastic tool or something, and we're gonna pull on the wings here. Okay, so just like this, pull on the wings, and you go like left, right to slowly walk the cable out. I don't know if you can see that, but it's slowly coming out. Okay, and the reason you do that is because if you just yank on this cable, there's a good chance you're gonna damage it. I don't know why one of the pins looks discolored, but all right, we'll leave that. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the screws holding the hinges in place. I'm gonna switch over to a T5 or Torx 5. We'll also need a T8 or Torx 8, but first we're gonna remove these little brackets or whatever these are, whatever you would call these, that hold the hinge in place. Once you undo the screw, I like to leave the screw with it and then grab that piece and pull it out. So here's what it looks like. Oh, this has dust all over it, so let's clean that. Okay, all right, so there we go. Just like that, we remove this piece. So there's two of these. We're going to remove both of them. Okay, I'm going to go to the other side, and same thing, we'll remove that. Okay, and grab that piece out. All right, there's also dust on this one. Okay, set that aside. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna switch over to the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver. Okay, let me zoom out here. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna open the MacBook screen all the way, all right? So open it completely, and then we're gonna hang the screen over the edge of your table or desk. All right, we'll zoom out a bit more. Now you can see my legs. All right, let's go ahead and undo the 6 screws here holding the hinges in place. Okay, move the stuff out of the way. Okay. There we go, we got those 3. We're gonna get these 3 out now. Alright, and once we get those 3 out, we should be able to remove the screen. Okay, let the screen drop to 90 degrees, and then you can lift the screen out, just like that. Alright, there we go. We removed the screen. We're going to set that aside. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom back in, and we're going to continue removing other components. Probably getting a bunch of messages, so give me a second. I'm going to respond to those, and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Let's go ahead and continue disassembling this. So we're going to have to remove lots of components. Alright, we took out the hinges already. We're going to switch back over to the T5 or Torx 5. Let's go ahead and undo all these screws. So I'm going to zoom in here. There's no particular order. Just do whatever works for you. Okay, actually I'm going to start from left to right. And let's go ahead and remove this screw here. Okay, we'll remove this screw that's right next to it. All right. Also, you don't have to remove the screen to remove the motherboard or logic board, so if that's your only goal, keep that in mind. All right. I'm just doing this complete disassembly to swap everything over because of the liquid damage to the keyboard. Okay, we're going to remove this screw here. Remove this screw here. There we go. Okay, we'll remove these 2 screws. It's a lot of screws. Hopefully you guys are able to keep them all in order so you can keep track of it. Alright. Move that screw. Okay, we're going to take out the fan, so let's remove this screw. I'm skipping some, but I'll go back down to them. There we go. Oops, let's go ahead and remove the 2 screws holding this bracket. I'm going to leave this cable attached to the fan. Okay. Just got a package delivered. Okay, we'll remove that metal bracket. Alright, so we're going to unhook this. So I'm just going to get underneath the corners with my nails, pop it up. Same thing with this one. Pop that up, and then we're going to flip this latch here to undo the fan. So there's a little latch. I flip that up, and then I'm going to use this piece to help pull that out. Okay, just like that. And here we go. We got the fan. I am going to clean this out because you can see it's kind of gross. And then I can also now clean this a bit better. But we'll get to that after we get everything out. Okay, we're going to flip this latch up and disconnect this cable as well. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and disconnect the SSD so that way we have a little more room to pull the slack up. Okay. Then we can lift this slightly and wiggle to pull that out. There we go. We got the SSD out. Let me actually brush this off because it's a little bit dusty underneath. Okay. Alright, I guess there's liquid on it, but alright, it's better now. We'll get that out. Alright, now that we got this, we can lift this board up and pull this cable out. We're going to lift this board out. And whoa, there's a lot of dust, oh my god, inside the ports. Okay, I didn't think to clean those. Yeah, I'm going to have to... I mean, technically this bottom piece I'm going to be recycling, so don't need to really clean it that well. Let me clean the bottom of this. Alright. I don't know how I'm going to get the dust out of the port. Guess I'll just kind of brush it and hope it comes out. Okay. It's a lot better, but yeah, I'll probably take that outside and use the electric air blower to dust it out completely. Okay, so a lot of this I'm going to have to clean better once I get it all apart. There's all this dust on it. Oops, sorry, I was cleaning this. Alright, we got one screw here that was hidden underneath the SSD. Don't forget that one. Okay, we're going to continue working our way over. We're going to peel up this part of the battery. Oh, I'm getting too much stuff all over the desk. This is going to be in my way. Okay. So we're going to peel this part up, right? We're going to undo this screw. This is a T5, Torx 5 battery screw. Again, hopefully you guys are remembering where all of these screws are coming from. We're going to go over to this side, same thing, remove this screw. This just makes it easier to lift the motherboard out. You don't technically even need to remove these, but I do it just so I have a little more wiggle room. Okay, we're going to peel this thing off the battery. Oh, it looks like there's a random loose screw rolling around in here. That's not good. Okay, peel up the adhesive. Okay, the adhesive somewhat tore itself a little bit. Alright, I don't know why there's a random loose screw in here or where it came from. Looks like a T5. Okay, I guess we'll see if I figure it out. Alright, there's 2 screws here holding this bracket. So we're going to remove those. Let me move some stuff around here. Okay, so we removed that one. Then we're going to remove this one. Okay. I'm going to remove this metal plate, just like this. Then we're going to go ahead and pop this up. Alright. We're actually going to remove this cable. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay, so this cable, you just peel it up. Again, be careful not to just tear it out, so I'm holding down here to keep it from flying up. Then we move this out of the way, flip this latch, oops, flip that latch up. Okay, once you flip that latch up, you can go ahead and pull this out. There is adhesive underneath holding this cable in place, so you want to slowly, carefully pull on it. And there we go, you can see the adhesive right there. So here we have the trackpad or touchpad cable. We're going to set that aside. Okay. Where did this random screw come from? I'm confused. Hopefully we'll figure it out. Okay, let's see what else we got. So, we got that bracket. Let's go ahead and remove this screw up here holding the motherboard. Okay, I'm going to try and align these in a way that I can kind of figure out where I got them from. Okay, we're going to pop this cable up. This is the keyboard backlight connector. Just pop that up just like that. All right, we're going to work our way over. We got another motherboard logic board screw here. We'll remove that. Got another screw down here. Okay, again, just do what helps you remember where you got everything from. Okay, what else? We got to remove the speaker here. So I have too much stuff all over my desk right now, so I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm going to do this for you guys to see. Okay, so I'm gonna have to zoom out a bit, and we're gonna do it that way. Okay, there's 3 screws holding the speaker in place, so let's go ahead and remove those 3. Probably should get like a separate table just to keep all this stuff on, so that way I have more room to wiggle around. Okay, so we got those 2, and then we get the 3rd screw out here. Okay, then we can lift this, but we are going to have to disconnect the cable over here. So this cable, the way you remove it is you get underneath. Let me see if I can zoom in and show this to you. Okay, I get one of my plastic tools here. So basically you're going to get underneath here, and you kind of want to go in at an angle as close as you can. If you can get all the way underneath here, okay, to the center, that's what you want. Hold the board down, and then we're just going to pop that up. Okay, just like this. Make sure that you're lifting under, okay, just like this, and then we can work our way over here, and I'm going to just pop it out like that. Okay, just like that. Then we can go ahead and unroute this. It goes actually underneath the motherboard, so if anything, you can actually leave this first until we remove the motherboard. It'll be easier to get this out because the cable does run underneath. Okay, but we're just disconnecting that so that way we can get to it later. Right? Is that a dead bug? I don't know what that is, but whatever. Anyways, now we're going to, let's see, we did those 2. We got that. Let's go ahead and remove the other fan. Okay, 3 more screws here. Wait, did I confuse myself? Okay, well, I probably mixed stuff up, but all right, let's get these 3. Oh, there's also this rubber piece here. Pull that off. All right, it's hiding one of these screws here. Remove that. Okay, then the one down here. And the one down here. There we go. Okay, then we're going to flip this latch up just like all the other ones. All right, make sure the rubber's out of the way. We can, oh, sorry, this is the one we need to flip. The one I just flipped earlier was the microphone. All right, so now that we got that, we can use this raised bump to help push it out. Okay, just like that. There we go, we got the second fan. Again, we need to clean this a little bit and clean the vent. The vent actually on this one's not too bad because I did kind of clean it from the outside. All right, we did disconnect the microphone cable there, but let's go ahead and undo the screws here first. These are for the MagSafe charge port. This is a MagSafe 2 charge port, just in case you're wondering. Okay, just like that, we got those 2 out. Next, we're going to undo this cable. Let's zoom in. Okay, so this one you want to be very careful. It helps to use something thin. You can use like a needle or something, and then what you want to do is you get in here and you kind of just wiggle it as you pull it. Sometimes you kind of have to push this down as you kind of pull that out. It's best to use something very thin. What did I do with my paper clip that I had out here? Okay, it's best to use something very thin like a needle or a paper clip to kind of get underneath so you can pull the entire cable at once. Okay, so just like this, and that way you're kind of pulling the entire cable because I pushed the paper clip all the way through. and then you can kind of use this to help wiggle and pull it out. Okay, it's going to be a little bit difficult. All right, kind of wiggle this and pull it, and there we go. You can see it released, and there, now we got the microphone out. All right, also if you're using something metal, make sure to be careful. If you did that, you want to disconnect the battery and press and hold the power button 15 seconds, because all these components can have electricity running through it, and you don't want to short these out with a piece of metal. All right, then we're going to go ahead and pop this thing up. Again, you can use whatever works for you. There's some adhesive here holding it. I usually just use my fingernail, get underneath as close to the connector as possible, and then I use my fingernail to kind of twist and prop it up. Then I go underneath here and then pull that, and then while it's up, I push down on this side and that pops up the other side, okay? Just like that. Again, there's adhesive underneath. Okay, and I think we got all the screws. All we have left is this keyboard connector here. We're going to peel this up, okay? Peel that up. Once you get that peeled up, you're going to flip this latch, and then you can go ahead and wiggle and pull that keyboard connector out. Okay, and I think that is everything. We are going to have to remove the other speaker screws in a bit, but I think that's everything to remove the motherboard, logic board. Okay, here you can see. Actually, let me zoom in a bit. All right, so we're gonna actually lift over from the left side here, okay? And be careful, this one's being stuck down because of the liquid, so I have to go extra slow and careful. Make sure these cables are out of the way if you are reusing that. Okay, carefully lift. Make sure the board doesn't get too bent or anything. Okay, then I'm gonna pull the battery connector out of the way and the speaker connector here. Okay, get that out, move that connector out of the way, slowly, carefully lift, and we're going to slide it over to the left, wiggling, okay, and there we go. We got the motherboard out. So I'm going to clean all this dust off of here. There's not really any point for me to clean the dust out of here, but I'll do it anyways. All right, let me move that aside. Okay. And I'm also going to remove this speaker here. Okay, so we're going to take the 3 screws out from the speaker, and then I'm going to also clean up the speakers, because usually the speakers get some dirt trapped underneath or on the side. So I'll show you what I mean when I get this out. Okay, we got those 3 screws out. Now we can go ahead and carefully lift this speaker out. Okay, and usually there's going to be dust stuck right there. Okay, so we're going to clean that out. There's a lot of components we're going to have to clean. Okay, got that. We're going to go to this side, same thing. Peel up the cable here for the speaker, and then grab at the plastic and lift it up from there. Okay, you don't want to try and pull it up from the cable, and you want to go slowly, because a lot of times the foam around the speaker gets stuck, and this is one of those. Okay, get that, and then you can kind of wiggle it, and there we go. So a lot of times this foam gets stuck. There's also like liquid residue in here. That shouldn't affect anything, so we're going to leave that as is. I'm just going to brush all the dust out of it. Here you can see this speaker is also pretty gross with all the dust all over it. Okay, so I'm going to clean that up. Okay, I'm going to put the motherboard back over here so I can remember to clean that. Okay, so we're going to put this just on top. Got this fan, we're going to clean that. And we got the fan and this board that we're going to clean as well. Okay, so I'm going to clean all this stuff up, and I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. Cleaned out this the best I could without having to use like water or anything. You can see there's a lot less dust inside there. Okay, whatever they got in here, it's like stuck. I cleaned what I could, but there's still some stuff in there. It won't come out. Okay, we'll set that aside, and same thing with the other fan. This one was not as bad. Okay, I have a feeling the spill happened all on the left side, because that's where the stuff was most difficult to remove. All right, we cleaned this board up. You can see it's a lot better now. This stuff is a lot cleaner. All right, it's not like brand new, but it's the best I could do without basically drowning this thing, because whatever they spilled on it. Right, these ports were all clogged with dust. They're all cleaned out now. All right, and also I cleaned out the side edges of the wireless card a lot better. Okay, and I think that's about it. So we're gonna now be swapping over the other. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention the speakers, of course. So the speakers, I cleaned those out. This one's actually good. The other one, I don't know what's going on with that. I think whatever they spilled on it stuck in there, and I don't want to put any liquids inside to try and clean it. But I cleaned that the best I could, and some of the stuff is stuck there. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead now and look over the replacement part. Make sure it has everything we need from here taken out. Okay, so got that, this piece, okay, there's no screw holding that. Got this piece, okay, there's the one screw there, good. The foam is there, the rubber piece is there. Okay, we're gonna go across, microphone is there. Let me set the motherboard aside. Okay, what else? Battery. So this battery is a lot better than this one. All right, we already have the trackpad installed, of course, because to take the trackpad out would be a huge pain. All right, what else? I think that's pretty much it. Of course, the keyboard cable is there. All right, and everything looks good. I don't know where that one missing screw came from. Again, this one, see, they left the screws here for the battery because you don't have to pull it out to remove the motherboard, as I mentioned earlier. But again, I don't know where that one random screw that was rolling around in there came from. I don't see anywhere that it would have fallen out of, so that's kind of strange. All right. Oh, I don't know why they put this screw here. I'm going to take that out because I don't need this one. Okay, so now we have an extra screw. Or two extra screws because I don't know where the other one came from. Okay, so we're going to set the old one aside now, and we're going to go ahead and swap everything into this new one. I guess it's technically used, but the replacement, new in terms of replacement. Okay, so grab that. Okay, what was the order? We're going to have to do motherboard first, actually speakers first. Okay, so we're going to grab the speakers here. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Okay, so it goes in at an angle like this, drops down, this tucks underneath where the battery is. Okay, stick that down. We can go ahead and put those three screws back in. Okay, what did I do? Oh, I'm moving stuff around. Okay, so we're gonna get the three screws for the speaker in first. This is important because they do hide screws underneath here. Okay, so you do want to make sure to do the speakers first. Well, actually, if you don't do the speakers first, other stuff will be in the way, so either way you have to do the speakers first. Okay, we'll get all these screws tightened back down. If your speakers are bad and you're not replacing them, you don't, I guess you could technically leave them out, but I don't know why you would do that if you went through the work of getting all the way to this point. Okay, then we're going to do the other speaker, same thing, goes in at an angle, drops that into place, and let's get these three screws in. Okay, and the last one here. All right, we'll tighten that up. And last one here. All right, there we go. What's next? The motherboard, I believe. Okay, so make sure this cable is out of the way. I'm gonna grab the motherboard. It goes in at an angle, all right, tilted this way. The difficult part is making sure everything ends up on top. Again, if you want, I'm gonna actually remove these two screws to make it easier. Okay, so that way I can lift the battery board up slightly. Right. Also, this is all bent up, so I'm actually going to remove it and put the other one in there. Because this one doesn't look as nice. Assuming I can peel it off. Can I peel it out? Okay, there we go. Alright. And This piece is supposed to go underneath the plastic. I accidentally untucked it. There we go. There's dust in here, so let's get that out. Alright, let's go ahead and get the motherboard in. Again, we're going at an angle, and the tricky part is making sure all these cables end up on top. The keyboard backlight cable, speaker, battery, keyboard, and other speaker and microphone. Okay, so we're going to go at an angle, just like this. Make sure you tuck the thing into place here. And if you messed with these other things, make sure you put this cable back before you put the motherboard in, of course. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to put that back. And to get this in, you have to line up the headphone jack. These metal tabs might be hitting the top here, so you do need to push them down. All right, and then you can line up the headphone jack here. You should see the circle ring, plastic ring of the headphone jack go through there. Okay, now while you're holding this up, you're gonna have to untuck all these cables. So get the keyboard cable up and out, battery cable up and out, and of course the speaker one. I'm going to use this so I don't have to lift it as high. Okay, there we go. Get that up and out. Okay, we've got some little hairs here. I'm going to try and take it out. There we go. Then we're going to get this cable out. Okay, oops, I guess I'll use the little plastic tool again to get that out of there. And slowly drop that in. Okay, then make sure everything looks good. We did get everything out, it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and attach the speaker cable first. Let's zoom in here and let's go ahead and get this cable. So just line it up and click it down into place. There we go. Perfect. Okay, we're not gonna plug the battery till the end. All right, keyboard connector here, make sure the latch is up, make sure the connector is clean. Then we're going to pull that back, get that lined up. Okay, and we're going to use this to pull that in. You can see the cable is now into place, and now that you got that, you can slide your finger over the top to latch it down. There we go. All right, let me see if I can move stuff to show you guys better. Got the other speaker cable here, line that up, and just click that down. Push this adhesive strip back onto it. Okay, we got the microphone cable here. Make sure the latch is up. We're gonna fold it over, roll it over, get that lined up. Okay, and then push that in. If you can't push it in all the way, you can use like a piece of tape. Okay, oops, sorry. You can use a piece of tape. Grab that and use that to help kind of pull it. Okay. Just like that, and you can see the white line is just barely visible. That's how it should be. And then slide your finger over the latch to lock it down. Okay, we got the charge port in the correct place. That's good. And now we're gonna push in the keyboard backlight cable. If you damage this cable, your keyboard backlight won't work, but your computer will be fine. So yeah, if you damage that, don't worry, you can still use your computer, your keyboard just won't light up anymore. Okay, anyways, let's clean off my desk a bit, and let's go ahead and start getting all these screws in. So we're gonna get the two MagSafe screws in. I'm gonna loosely fit it first, okay? Just like that and that. Okay, and you wanna actually hold the thing outwards, all right? If you can't do that, what you can do, let me get the charger that I have. Okay, so you can have your charger unplugged, then you can go ahead and get your charger and attach it. I have this adapter, so this makes it easier. And then I use that to help pull this out so it stays as close to the case as possible. And then we'll just tighten this in place. There we go, just like that. Okay. So we got that plugged in, or that set up. Good. All right, what's next? Let's go ahead and put back the fans here. Let me zoom out a little bit for you guys. Okay, so the fan, make sure the latch is up. We're gonna slide it in. Make sure to get the connector lined up, and then use this raised bump to help push that in. Good. Once you got it in place, slide your finger over the top to latch it down. All right, let's go ahead and get these screws in. Actually, we'll leave that for now because we want to make sure the motherboard's all lined up first. So let's go ahead and go over to the other fan over here. Same thing, we'll flip this rubber piece out of the way. Actually, let's go ahead and put this board in just so it's not, so other stuff isn't in the way, okay? Actually, I think the fan also goes on top of this, so we do have to put this first. Okay, so now we're going to be holding this up, lining this connector into place, okay? And then you want to push, I use the wings to help push this in, okay? Get that in. Once you get both sides completely set, flip that latch down, you'll hear it click. Hopefully this isn't why his USB port's broken. It looks like liquid got into here and went over there. If that's the case, we're gonna have to get a replacement of this board, which isn't too expensive. But if he wants to have that function, then we'll have to replace that, okay? Here we go, get that board into place. Okay, make sure everything is lined up. Good. All right, good. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and get this fan. Again, make sure the latch is up. Get this connector in. It might help to remove the wireless card to do this one, but here we go, just like that. And then we're gonna, again, slide our finger over to latch this down, just like that. Perfect, let's go ahead and connect this and this. There we go. Get all the dust out that's getting in here. All right, what's next? So since we got all of this in place, we can go ahead and put the 2 screws for the battery back in. I'm gonna loosely fit it first to make sure, but it's not really moving anywhere, so it should be fine. Okay, let's go ahead and tighten that down, tighten this down. Perfect. All right, so this cable, again, we're gonna plug last. All right, let's go ahead and put the screw here that was hidden underneath the SSD. We wanna make sure that's in place. There we go, tighten that down, perfect. Then we'll go ahead and take the SSD, get that in. It goes slightly at an angle like this. And then you can actually pinch both sides, just like that. Drop that into place. Perfect. We'll get this screw in. Good. All lined up. All right, let's start getting all the other screws in. There's a lot of screws to go. Let's see, we got the hinge stuff, we got that, we got this. Okay. So, we're gonna grab this screw down here. It's a lot of screws. We're gonna get this one in. Okay. Get the second one here. Good. We'll get this metal bracket, put that back on top. First, gonna loosely fit the screw. Okay. Second one. Line that up, get that in. Okay, and go ahead and tighten them down. Perfect. All right, we're gonna get the 2 screws, or the 3 screws up here. This one for the fan. What I'm gonna do for the fan screws, actually, I'm just gonna loosely fit them first because the fan can wiggle around a little bit. Okay, so I wanna make sure to get all these screws in first before I secure the fan down, all right? We're gonna get this silver one holding the heatsink in place. Perfect. And the last one holding this board up here in place. Perfect. Okay, then we're gonna work our way over to here. We got the 1 fan screw here. Again, we're just gonna loosely fit this one in case we need to adjust it a little. Okay, motherboard screw. Good. Other motherboard screw. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to get this metal bracket here. All right, here we go. We'll get this in, and we'll get this in, and we'll tighten that down, and we'll tighten this down. Good. All right. Next, we're gonna go over and get the other motherboard screws. So we got this one here. Okay, let's get the fan screws. Again, we're just gonna loosely fit the fan screws for now. Okay, the other two on this side. Okay, this one, we're almost done. All right, now we got this one up here. Perfect. Get the rubber piece on top. All right, and now what I like to do is I like to pull the fan as close to the heatsink as possible, and then we'll tighten those screws down. Okay. This rubber piece actually seals, helps seal this piece so the air all goes through here, but I like to get it as close as possible so that way the airflow flows directly to there instead of kind of sometimes the air will come up out here and then go out that way. So, all right, same thing. I'm going to pull this fan, tighten the screws. Go, perfect. Let's go ahead now and get the trackpad cable in place. I think we have to zoom out a bit. Okay, make sure that latch is up. Hold this plastic tab out of the way, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this in. Okay, make sure that goes in all the way. Good, and then flip the latch down. Hold that. We're gonna keep the adhesive from sticking to the battery first. Make sure to line this up. Click that in. All right, and once I got that clicked in, then I'll work my way down and stick it on like that. Okay, perfect. Let's see what else we got. We'll flip this over. Actually, we need to put the screen back in. So we'll get the little bracket or the cover here first. Okay, we're almost there. That one and this one. Okay, line that up. Lock that in place. Good. Good. All right, so that's all locked in. Next, we're going to put the screen back. So we're going to zoom back out again. Okay. All right, we're going to rotate this like that, just like before. We're going to get the old screen. Okay, and make sure these cables end up on top, so I hold them out of the way with my fingers. And then, oh, this rubber piece is in the way. Okay, and then we just drop that into place. Actually, there's a little dust on this. Let me clean that real quick. Okay, hold the cables out of the way, and we'll drop this in. Good. Then I hold this up with my leg so that it's holding the hinges flat. Okay, and get the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver bit back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put one screw on either side on the closest ones. Okay, we are going to adjust these, but for now we're just using this to hold it in place. Okay, now that we got that, we're going to go ahead and pick up the Mac, rest it on the screen, and then we're going to slowly, very slowly, gently close this. You want to do this slowly because you want to make sure it's not getting caught on anything. You want to make sure it's not snagging. And there we go. All right, let's zoom in again. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to loosen these screws a little bit. Okay. And then what we're going to do, we're going to align, make sure everything is flush on the edges, okay? You don't want it to be crooked. Looks good. Looks good. All right, so once you confirm that, you can go ahead and tighten these two screws back down. Again, we are going to add thread locker to this. Okay. Let's go ahead and also get this all into place. So let me actually zoom in and do that first. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move all these screws we took out of the way. Okay, so move this rubber piece over, of course, and then we're just going to line this up, get the wireless antennas in. You want to do one at a time. Okay, just like this. All right, it's not shoving over. The cables are supposed to kind of go into this groove. So let's, come on, get that in. And once you get that in, there you go. Slide that over. Okay, there we go. Now it went in right. Then we're going to get this piece in. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and get this webcam eyesight camera connector in. All right, you don't want to try and push it all the way in from the cable. What we're going to do is we're going to use the tool like this. You can use whatever works for you. And then we're going to push the wing one at a time, just like this. And there you go. You see it walked itself into place. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to get the wireless antennas. Just make sure they're lined up properly. Okay. The way you know it's lined up properly is it kind of will drop into place. And then if you move it around a little, it stays. Then you can go ahead and click it down. Good. Do that with all three. Okay. There we go. And the last one. Some fuzz stuck to it. There we go. And click that in. All right. So these all should hold themselves down. Good. Perfect. All right. Then you kind of work your way over. Work your way over to push the adhesive back in. You can flip this back over and stick this back on top. Okay. These little pieces that go between the fan and the heatsink should sink into place. All right. There we go. And now let's go ahead and get the remaining hinge screws in. Actually, let's do the LCD LVDS connector since we're so zoomed in right now. Okay, make sure this goes around this hook. You don't want it on top of the hook because if you put the cover on, it can smash that cable and damage it. Then we're going to pull the cable back, line it up. Okay, and then again, using the bottom of the clip or the latch, pull that in, flip that latch down. There we go. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get these screws in. Again, I'm going to use a little bit of thread locker here. I'm leaving it like this so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, and let's go ahead and get that. So we're going to get this screw. Again, I put a tiny bit of thread locker on it. Just a little, okay, like that. And then we'll get the screw in. Very simple, very straightforward. Get the other one. Same thing, get it on. There's actually some that dripped over here, so I'm just going to touch it to that. Okay. There we go. Tighten that down. All right, we'll remove this one. And we'll get that in. Good. And we'll tighten that screw down. Okay, we're going to rotate to the other side. Is there enough room? Oh, I'm going to have to zoom out here. I don't have enough room on my desk to rotate this right for you guys. Or actually, I'd have to do it like this, but it's hanging over the edge of my desk and it might fall over. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to grab the other screw. Okay, get a little bit on there. And this one I'm going to loosely fit first because I want to make sure both screws get in and are lined up. Again, also there's this hook here. Make sure that the cables aren't going on top of it. You want to make sure they go underneath because you don't want to smash those cables. Okay. Second one. Okay. Good. Now that they're both in, you can go ahead and tighten it down. Okay, we'll take this one back out and add the thread locker as well. There we go. Okay, good. I'm going to now clean this off because I don't want it to clog itself. It's done that before. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got all of that into place. We're going to flip this back over. And then we're going to get those little, oops, let me actually zoom in so you can see this a bit better. We're going to get those little T5, Torx 5 things back in place. So switch back to the T5. Okay, and we're going to get these little hinge screw thingies back in place. So it goes like this. Line it up, drop it into place, get the screw, and tighten that back down. There we go. I'm going to go over to here and we're going to do the same thing. Take that piece, drop it into place. Oops. In there, please. There we go. Get that. Okay, and tighten that down. Perfect. All right, don't forget to put the little rubber pieces back on, just like this. Okay, don't mix them up either. All right, just like that. Oops, I actually messed up. I have to get that cable underneath. So I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these two screws up a little. Okay, and this webcam cable, you kind of want it to go underneath this metal piece of the wireless antennas if you can. Okay, come on, get under there. There we go, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to tighten this back down. There we go. Okay, good. Now we can get this rubber piece back on. All right, and I think all that's left now is to put the plastic cover of the battery back on, double check all the connections. Everything looks good. All right, so let's plug in the battery. So to plug in the battery, let me zoom in here. See if I can show this close up. All right, I like to get one corner in first, and then you work your way over and push that in, just like that. Okay, we'll get this tape thing back on top. Okay, just center it, and then just stick that down. Perfect. All right, let's get the bottom cover. Okay, here you can see what it looks like, all done. Bottom cover back on. Click it in place. All right, let's test it real quick. Oh, it still doesn't want to click down completely. I think their metal cover got bent too much from the battery. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna now get these screws in. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this, and I'm gonna at least get the two corners in up here. That way we can just plug it in and see if everything's working. Okay, let's flip this over. Open this up. All right, I'm gonna have to clean that little residue off and use some paper towel. It's just sticker residue, so it should technically come off with rubbing alcohol. Okay, and we'll just clean this up. Yep, that came off very easily. Okay, clean that up a bit. Your screen, I don't know. You probably have to use like water and stuff to do it. There you go, we cleaned that off. Let's go ahead and plug this in and see if we have power. Okay, usually after doing big changes like this, I like to do a Pram and SMC reset. So SMC reset, Control Option Shift on the left side, power button. This light will go green and then back to orange. That's how you know you did SMC reset right. Now we're going to do a Pram reset. We're going to turn it on, Command Option P and R, hold that down. Okay, you should see the screen shut off and then it should come back on. I just saw it, so it should already be done, but I'm going to hold it a little bit longer just to see. There you go. If you want, you can keep holding it till you hear the chime, and then if you see the screen shut off, you can let go, or you can wait till you hear the second chime, and that's how you know you did a Pram reset properly. Okay, so it's good. It's booting up. I'm going to get some water on a piece of paper towel and see if about cleaning this screen. Okay, he asked me to check the mouse or the USB ports, so I'm going to do that as well. Let me clean off the screen real quick right now. So I'm going to shut this down and we're going to clean the screen. Again, I'm just using a little bit of water. You want to use very little. You don't want enough that if you can squeeze the piece of paper, water will leak out. You don't want that, okay? Because then you'll end up dripping it everywhere. So just get a little bit of water on the paper towel. Okay, let's see if I can clean off his thing a little bit. I think the stuff that's in here is probably from vape, because the dust was kind of all stuck in there. So most likely it stuck to the grease from the vape. Okay. All right. Sometimes smoking does it too, but it doesn't smell like cigarettes, so it smells kind of like cotton candy or something. All right. There we go. Let's get a little bit more water. The screen is a lot cleaner. It's not perfect, but you can see all that residue. Okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna clean this again and see if we can kind of get all of that out. Yeah, it smells like cotton candy or something. Oops, I did not mean to turn it on. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold this out of the way. Okay, let's go ahead now and clean this. Get a bit more water on the paper towel. Again, if you want to know how much water, just put some and don't completely soak it, and then you can kind of squeeze it, make sure it's no longer like wetting the rest of it, and then that's good. All right, so we're just going to clean this off. If you use something like rubbing alcohol, be careful not to rub too hard because the anti-glare coating will come off. I don't think you can really get this to be perfectly clean. I'm going to try with a little bit of rubbing alcohol here. Okay. And then we're going to just wipe this up. Okay. You can see it's a lot cleaner now. Okay. Now I need a dry paper towel. Okay, and we're just going to make sure it's all dried. Oh, it's leaving residue. Okay, I'm going to have to use a little more. Let's try with a little water again. So the water kind of just pushes the greasy stuff around, and the alcohol helps kind of dissolve the grease. Okay, but you can see it's a lot better. It's not perfect. Okay. It's difficult to make a screen perfectly clean, and anyways, it's going to get dirty real soon after, so don't worry about getting it 100% perfect. Okay, using a little bit of rubbing alcohol again. Okay. There we go. I think that's about it for now. Clean it a little bit more with the water. And we should be good to go. Okay, this will probably be the cleanest they've seen it in a very long time, so it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, here we go. All right, and now we're just going to get all the bottom screws back in and we're good to go. Again, I will test with a USB mouse just to make sure that all the USB ports are working. Otherwise, I'll let them know if they need to replace something on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You're welcome to stay as I get all these screws back in. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Let's just get all these screws back in. Again, I think when the battery inflated, it's kind of making everything out of alignment here. So yeah, it's like doing some weird stuff. Anyways, let's get all these screws in and we should be good to go. Okay, get that one, last two. Alright, and that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.